Maybe we are all just a bunch of sheeple, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. I'm going to share my sermon on today's gospel reading, which is from John 10, 1 to 10, and it has Jesus telling two parables about sheep. We have a situation where the sheep are kept in a pen at night time, and the shepherd has to take the sheep out during the day so that they can go and find good food to eat. And when Jesus is talking to his followers about this idea of sheep being let out, he's very confident in the ability of the person who's operating the gate of the pen to know who is supposed to be coming in and out and what sheep belongs to what shepherd. So the person operating the gate isn't going to allow anybody to come in and steal the sheep or to come and take somebody else's sheep. And Jesus is also very optimistic about the ability of the sheep to recognize who it is that's supposed to be caring for them. And is very confident that the sheep are not going to follow somebody who isn't supposed to be taking them. So that they're not going to allow themselves to be stolen because they recognize the voice of the person who's supposed to be taking them out to find pasture. And Jesus is confident of this, even though it's demonstrated in the retelling of these parables that he realized his disciples didn't understand what he was talking about. But he isn't frustrated by this. He just stops and takes his time and tries talking about this in a different way. When they don't understand, he just keeps on talking with them, tries another approach. So he changes the way that he's talking about it. He starts talking about himself, not as the shepherd, but as the gate. And he says that he's not going to allow anybody dishonest or nasty to get to the sheep. Now, if Jesus is confident that the sheep will recognize him and won't follow somebody else, why is it that the different churches and different Christians and Christians in different countries so often end up doing or saying different things to each other? And if Jesus has said that his sheep won't follow some other master, why does it sometimes look as though parts of the church are just going in the complete opposite direction to where Jesus led us? Why does it so often look like people are being led astray? This happened in Germany when both the Protestant and Catholic churches sided with the Nazi government. There were some people who resisted, but overall, the church institutions cooperated with the Nazi government. They cooperated when the government removed people with Jewish heritage and people with other heritages that the Nazis believed were inferior. They cooperated when the Nazis were removing those people from places of leadership, including in the church. And they cooperated when the Nazi government was saying, you can't criticize us. Well, if we find that we've been following somebody who's leading us in the wrong way, we know what we have to do. We need to run away from that person. Often, I think that is what people end up doing. Somebody who's been leading the church astray is exposed, and people run from that person. It's important that we don't lose touch with other people when it seems as though they're going off in the wrong direction. We need to stay in touch with people even when we can see that they're not following the way of Jesus. Because what sheep do is we follow each other. If we can see that somebody is going off in a strange or dangerous direction and we stay in touch with them, that might be the way that they find their way back. At the same time, we might realize at some stage that we've gone off in a strange direction and we might end up somewhere where we're thinking, how on earth did I get here? If we're in touch with the rest of the flock, that will help us find our way back. This is why it's helpful that we have the creeds. The creeds help us stay in touch with what the church has believed across time and across different places. When I've looked at the creeds, I've often felt like it's disappointing that they don't say anything really about the things that we're going to do as followers of Jesus or the way that we're going to follow Jesus. It is all just about things that we believe. But I recognize what's good about that too. It means that the church, in each time and in each place, in each neighborhood, is free to discern what is the appropriate way to follow Jesus in their particular situation. As we go about our lives, let's make sure that we're paying attention to the words of our shepherd, Jesus. Let's make sure that we're really familiar with the kind of things that he says, the way that he speaks, the way that he walks. Let's stay in touch with the whole flock so that we don't become disoriented or lost or deceived. Jesus has said that we will know his voice and that he'll lead us out and he'll lead us back in again.